framed portrait with your messages make me feel one with you. Nakakaiyak po. I don't get this kind of a tribute often in my life. And today, with what you have done, it's really heartwarming and touches my heart. So let me thank all of you. Our relationship has not been very pleasant all the time. May tumatawag sa akin sa media na ang taba na yan, But all of these are part of one's relationship growing up, and it has grown, our relationship, I must assert, has grown into one of maturity, where you would understand where I am coming from, and I would understand where you are coming from. The point is, we do our job with all sincerity, with no malice aforethought. Sometimes you may not be happy with my answers, but, that's how it goes. You have your own interests. I have my own interests, and we try to we try to do our bit. Having said that, indeed, it was a very learning experience. I don't think there are that many people in government who can claim the same relationship as I have had with you for the last 25 years. Not easy, but very heartwarming and very productive. We have served the public well. You in media, me in the government. We have served the public well. You have served the agenda of providing accurate information that the public would need, that would put us in government on its toes. Unfortunately, with the presence of social media and the trolls, that things may have changed. But nevertheless, we must continue to struggle for the sake of our country, to you perform your role as members of the Fourth Estate. Okay? So, having said that, I am open to questions. Now, I'd just like to comment. Okay, there was a news that came out early this morning, about an hour ago, or 2 hours ago, that Senator Cynthia Villar has in effect conceded the presidency to Senator Mig Zubiri, and let me extend my congratulations to both of them for having provided stability to the situation in the Senate early enough so that we can all go back to work. It's now a question of choosing the right chairman for the right committee, and it's very important that we choose the right chairs, or they choose the right chairs in the coming Congress, because we have a lot of problems to face. But just in terms of the Senate, with Senator Villar conceding the presidency, I hope that the report is correct. Huh? Okay. Nakausap niyo na? Okay. With Senator Villar conceding the presidency to Senator Miggs, the next contest is in who will be the minority leader. Who will be the minority leader? Strictly speaking, only Senator Risa Hontiveros can be considered as an oppositionist, having been elected under the Akbayan and as a part of the ticket of Vice President Lenin Robredo. But what I understand is that there are, at least as far as I know, Senator Coco Pimentel, who has made a public statement that she would want to be in the minority. And I keep on hearing, and here I have no personal knowledge of, but I keep on hearing that Senator Cayetano, the Cayetanos, the brothers and sisters, would be part of the minority. I do not know how accurate it is, but I'm proceeding on that, on what I have heard. If this happens, then the fight will be as to who will be the minority leader. The Supreme Court has ruled in the case involving, if I'm not mistaken, Senator Santiago, late Senator Santiago, and Senator Tatad, and involving the recognition by the majority then headed by Senate President Fernan, the recognition by the majority of Senator Gingona as the minority leader. And Senator Santiago and Tatad brought this to the Supreme Court on the validity of the designation of the minority leader, because they claim that they are in the minority and that Gingona, as a minority leader, cannot be designated by the majority. If you notice, that is what happens in the House. The majority recognizes the Speaker, recognizes the minority leader. In the Senate, that is not being followed strictly because the Senate President would ask the minority, who is the minority leader? I'm speaking from personal experience, that I became the minority leader because of the consensus in the minority group that I should stand as minority leader. But strictly speaking, the Supreme Court in that case involving Senator Santiago, Senator Tatad, and Senator Gingona ruled that the decision of the Senate President and the majority at that time, Senator Fernan and the majority, including me at that time, is recognizing Senator Teofisto Gingona as the minority leader is something that the Supreme Court did not want to disturb because there is no showing of abuse of discretion. So they left it at that. They left it at that, that the majority, that the Senate President recognized Senator Gingona as the minority leader, and the Supreme Court in effect said, we do not see any abuse of discretion on the part of Senator Fernan, and therefore that recognition extended by Senator Fernan and the majority as to who is the minority leader, what is the ruling, was the ruling. That is why in Congress, in the House, they always recognize the designation by the Speaker of who is the minority leader. Of course, charges of a company union being designated cannot be avoided under that system. But although that's the decision of the Supreme Court, in the Senate, we do not necessarily follow that. The majority would always ask the minority group who is the minority leader, and the Senate President would recognize that. That would be interesting in this coming 9th Congress. What will happen? Will there be only 4 members of the minority? Hindi na po ba madadagdagan yan? Number 2, who will designate? Who will be the minority leader? Those who will be designated by the minority group, or the one that will be recognized by the leadership. In fact, before the Supreme Court decision, the practice was the one who is aspiring to be the minority leader, or who will be recognized as the minority leader, would run as Senate President. And it is expected that he would not have the votes, but for purposes of record, he or she would run for Senate President, and as he would lose, then he becomes the minority leader. That was the practice before. And in a sense, that is being carried up to today, because while the prospective minority leader no longer runs for the Senate President, still the views of the minority would be sought by the majority as to who the minority leader is. But I'm relating to you all this because I want to put in context what will happen in the next Congress on the issue of the minority leader. And the minority leader is important because unlike in the House, the minority leader plays oftentimes a very critical role in the Senate because of the no cloture rule. If you notice, in my 6 years as minority leader, the majority, in fairness to them, never asked me to stop talking. Never asked me to close the debate because they know that that is a tradition honored by the Senate, and therefore the minority leader becomes very important. But of course, with that position, a lot of responsibility and time would be required because you have to study. Kaya pag-aralan mo ang bawat batas na ihahain sa isang session. So, okay, I'm relating to you this because you may want to have this at the back of your minds when the session comes back. And yeah.
Senate President delegate a committee chairmanship. Could it be just?
That is not found in any book. That is not found in any book. In my experience, having gone through 4 elections for the Senate presidency, it's a question of negotiation, discussion between the individual senators and the one seeking the position of the Senate presidency. But of course, the background and experience of the senator would be a consideration. For example, most of those who became chairs of the Committee on National Security would have background in the military or security service. Those who would have advocacy on justice or lawyer would have the preference for the Committee on Justice and things like those. Okay, thank you very much. And again, thank you for your tribute. Indeed, it is heartwarming. And I have to bite my lips so I will not shed tears today. Thank you very much. Thank you, Salam. Will I miss you? I do not know. But I have to get used to the fact that in the morning, my phone will stop ringing because there are no more people asking for an interview. But I do not know. What? Sorry? Ano na po ang gagawin nyo? I have always volunteered. I will be your unnamed runner and resource person. So I would just text me. I would answer your calls. But since I am no longer a public official, my views will not matter. But to give you a background, I'm willing to be your runner and express to you what I think it should be. But as I said, that's on a confidential basis because I don't think the public will mind what former Senator Drilon said at that point. But anyway, again, thank you very much. It has been a very fruitful years. And I have not stopped learning every day that I deal with you. So again, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you very much.